Hi everyone, welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith and I've been joined by...
Luke Smith.
And...
Andrea.
And you guys did a wonderful job once again providing us with lots of great suggestions for the continuation of our playthrough of Dead of Winter. There's actually 2 suggestions that got the most votes. I put them together into like one mutant suggestion. Okay, this was from Elkator955 and Redclaw87. We're going to get to that in just a moment though. First, we forgot to draw a crossroads card at the start of my turn.
Oh,
Andrea?
Yeah.
Yes, this has happened a couple of times. We're getting a little better, I think, though. So, Andrea, is this something that needs to resolve before I start?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Great. Well, listen, we also got some great narration suggestions as well. Tyler Smith did a really good one, I thought. I had to modify it slightly to fit with the suggestion we're going with, but let's give you a little bit of narrative storytelling right now.
Mike, I really think we should be focusing on...
Sophie turned from the map to find Mike had already disappeared. I hate when he disappears like that, James scoffed. Harmon retorted.
Hey, at least he's out there helping. What have you been doing?
We don't need to quarrel. We've got bigger problems.
Sophie motioned to the map.
If we don't add some defenses along the edge of town, we're going to be completely overrun.
We just need to get a tool so I can make some repairs.
Harmon said.
I used to work on the cabins at the park. It'll be easy.
We don't have anything to build with, Harmon, James said in frustration. We need to fight off the zombies to give us some room to breathe. Harmon stepped around the table, getting in James's face.
I'll say it again. What about you? What have you been doing?
Sophie slammed her hands on the table.
Stop wasting time! Harmon, you're right. We need tools. But let's keep our heads. James, what are your people doing?
Forrest is helping Janet at the hospital. We all know this. James stepped away from the park ranger and looked at the map. What we need is someone to search the police station. That's where we're most likely going to get the supplies we need to defend ourselves from the horde. I can go there. I'm good at finding things. It was Jenny Clark, the waitress who came in with the other batch of survivors a few days ago. All right then, James said. It's settled. All right, thanks again, guys, for all of your contributions. Let's head right to the table and see how things play out. So Jenny, one of our new survivors that we brought in because of a crossroad card last time, wants to help out the colony, prove her worth. She's going to head over to the police station. Let's see if she can survive that trip. Okay, she does. No wounds, no frostbite, and thankfully, no infections. Now I'm going to use one of my action dice, the 3 here, to do a search. She has a special ability that I'm going to activate right now. This is a once per round ability that allows me to look at 3 additional cards when I search. I'll tell you right now what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's a pretty good one, right? Especially right now because we need to contribute to this crisis. I need to find... We got nothing, and I need to find some tools. Okay, I've looked at what I have in my hand here. I am going to be keeping one of these. I'll put that in my hand. The other 3 will go to the bottom of the search pile. I can tell you guys that I did find 1 tool. That's good news.
Good.
I do have another tool in my hand. That's 2. We need 3.
Oh.
So I'm going to do another search here with Jenny.
Do it!
But I can only look at 1 card this time.
What?
Yeah, so the odds of me finding something are not great. All right, this first item was not a tool. And this is creating a new problem for us here, because I don't have any more dice that I could use to search with Jenny. Now, if I want, I could have James re-roll the 2s that I have. The problem is searching is not necessarily going to help us here. If we do not find a tool, I did some math here earlier, because of this crisis going off and then the colony phase drawing more zombies in, we are going to absolutely lose this game because enough of our survivors will die, morale will go to 0. Now that said, I am willing to risk Jenny here and add some more noise tokens to this location to continue drawing again, because if I can find a tool, then we'll be okay. So I'll add another noise token to this location and draw. This is not a tool. So let me just try that again. Still not a tool. One more time. Not a tool. So, one last chance. Now the odds are pretty good because although there's not a lot of tools at this location, there are more than in some places. It's not a tool. I do get to keep one of these items, though. And I think I found one that will be helpful to us, although it's not going to help us solve this crisis. The items I'm not taking, I'll put back in the stack. We've most likely sealed Jenny's fate, but I think her fate was sealed anyway, to be honest. I've got 2 more actions left, though. Now, before I continue, Andrea confessed that she has something she wants to share with the rest of us.
So, if you've been watching the videos, it probably seems like I'm the traitor because I said I had a handful of junk. I gave one to Luke, and then I didn't contribute any to the crisis.
No, you didn't.
I actually forgot that junk was a tool. I'm being 100% serious. I came down and looked at my cards a little while before we started the episodes, and I totally forgot that it
could have contributed to the crisis.
And I feel so bad
You know what
now.
I'm glad for, Dad?
What's that?
Actions that do not require an action die. Vote to exile.
I don't know what to think, Andrea. I don't know. I could see someone mistaking junk and thinking, oh, these aren't tools. That could happen.
I totally,
You are admitting it. I mean,
don't
you could.
know why I forgot about that's ridiculous.
She could have kept it to herself. On the other hand, she could just be that good of a traitor.
I have an X-ray goggles and I can see her secret objective at the bottom. It says
Wouldn't that be nice?
footprint.
Wouldn't it be nice to see?
I'm not the traitor.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll see about that. For now, though, I need to finish my turn. We'll have to think about what we're going to do with her. You know what? I think it's time for our old friend Forrest to save the day.
Oh no.
Yes. Don't say oh no. Listen, yeah, I think we're going to find ourselves able to dig out of this little hole.
Forrest Plum.
We'll see. Because I picked up an item that is going to help Forrest. A Colt 1911 pistol. It's probably like the 1911. I don't have a lot of guns, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of Americans right now making fun of me for not knowing how to say that properly. I am going to equip this Colt pistol to Forrest Plum. This is going to be really good because we're going to use Forrest to attack some zombies at his location. And it says once per round, I can ignore rolling the exposure die when I do an attack.
Well, that's useful.
That is useful. I'm just going to attack one right now. So this zombie's going to go away. Oh yes, and I needed to spend an action die to do this attack, by the way. And I'm going to roll a die to see if we get a sample. And it's a 6, so we do get a sample. That's great. Now I'm going to attack a second time. However, I will need to roll the exposure die. Let's hope that Forrest makes it. Oh, it's frostbite.
Ouch.
That is the worst kind of wound. I mean, aside from getting a bite. Maybe, though, we'll collect a sample for his troubles. Yes, another 6.
Yes.
Wow. Well, that is the end of my turn. Kind of a mix of results there, both good and bad. And now we move on to the colony phase. The first thing we have to do is pay for food. Now, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 survivors here, which we divide by 2 and round up, and that means we have to pay for food. Well, we've got no shortage of food here. So
We got lots of food.
Everyone's well fed. It's the people who left the colony that are in the most trouble, it seems. Now it's time to check waste. We don't have to, though. We counted up the waste during the last episode, and we had 9 here. And it's 10 or more that causes morale to go down. So thankfully, morale stays where it is. And from the good news to the bad news, time to resolve the crisis.
Oh my goodness.
Well, there is nothing sitting here. I want to point out again, I do have some tools. There was no point in me throwing them in, though, because there just wasn't enough. I would have just wasted those tools for nothing. Andrea, on the other hand, unsure why she didn't put them in there.
It was a mistake.
So she claims. Let's see what it says on here. This is pretty bad. It tells us that we need to add 6 zombies to the colony.
What?
Now, thankfully, this is not going to cause the colony to be overrun.
Phew.
But it does certainly put us in some trouble there. And then we have to add 1 zombie to every location. So 1 will go here, 1 will go here, 1 will go here. Yes, Luke is groaning because there's no more spaces to put zombies at the library. That means this location is overrun. Instead of placing this zombie, Mike Cho has been bitten. So this is it. We've lost our first survivor. Luke, it's one of yours. I'm very sad. Mike Cho is going to have to be removed from the game. Being a ninja, maybe not quite so effective against zombies. A little too close for comfort with those ninja skills. So, Luke, this is...
I'm going to bury him. Put him in the casket.
a little hand coffin. We'll put Mike Cho in the hand coffin to be buried. And once you lose a survivor, it's gone from the game, including the card. So you no longer have a leader, Luke. You need to replace Mike Cho. Who's it going to be? Who's going to step up and take his place?
It's gonna be Harmon Brooks, the park ranger.
Okay, so Harmon Brooks is going to go in there. We're going to need to add another zombie to the hospital. And we would have to add another zombie to the gas station, which would cause it to be overrun. But there's no survivors there, so there's nothing to add, which is good because we're totally out of zombies. And that's why they give you these zombie tokens here, not just for samples, but so you can place these as well. Now, I wanted to make sure all of the zombies were placed, so I didn't lose track of that. But when Mike Cho died, morale also was reduced by 1. We're down to 3. Things in the colony are not great, but it's about to get a little bit worse because we need to attract zombies now. We're going to have to add 4 to the colony, so we'll use these tokens to fill in the spots that we need here. These spaces here, if any more zombies are added to any of these first 4, they're going to all be overrun. Clearly, hanging out here in the colony safe house isn't so safe anymore. And if that's not bad enough, things are going to get even worse over here at the police station. We need to add another zombie because we have 1 survivor here, Jenny. But there's no space, and that means this location's been overrun. And Jenny, who's here, has now also been killed.
Hand coffin.
Right, hand coffin. So, Jenny, rest in peace. And that was one of my survivors. We also have to reduce morale by 1 when we lose a survivor. Coming over here to the grocery store, we have the exact same situation.
Oh, no.
Luke, I'm sorry, but Andrew has also been removed. Can I have a hand coffin, please? Okay. Goodbye, Andrew. He was wounded anyway. It wasn't looking good for Andrew. Morale goes down to 1. Over here at the school, we need to add a zombie, but there is a space, so that's not so bad. Over at the library, there's no survivors, so nothing would get attracted there. We don't have to add anything. And because of Forrest's good work, both Forrest and Janet are going to survive. And over at the gas station, there's nothing there to attract zombies. Next, we need to check the main objective. We need a total of 12 samples here, and we only have 5. So we still have 7 more that we need to collect. The objective is not completed. Next, you would move the round tracker, but I already did that a little bit earlier when you guys weren't looking. So it's on the right round as of now. And we passed the first player token. You also had a crossroad card, didn't you?
It didn't happen.
It never happened? Okay. Well, now it's time to reveal the next crisis. These are always bad news, and this one is called food spoilage. We're going to have to contribute a number of food equal to the number of non-exiled players, and if we fail, then until the end of the next round, non-exiled players cannot use food tokens to increase their action dice results. And we'll lose 1 morale, which is arguably even worse. Well, now it's time for us to roll our action dice, and we're all going to lose some dice here, I think.
I don't.
Except for, yes, Andrea. Because you always have 1 plus the number of survivors. Well, we lost a few survivors along the way here. 2 dice? Woo! All right, I'm rolling 3.
3.
I got a 1. I got a 2. And a 5. What about you, Luke?
I got a 6, a 2, and a 3.
All right, and Andrea?
2, 2, 4, 6.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, now it's time for the player turn, starting with me. Before I go, we cannot forget
Crossroads.
Crossroad card. So, Andrew, you just check that.
Does it happen?
Not at the moment.
Okay, I also want to do this right away. Forrest Plum has frostbite because it's my turn. He's going to take a wound right now. And before I really start my turn in earnest, can we just have a quick little break here? I want to think about what I'm going to do because this one's all up to me. All right, I've looked things over here. And our morale is pretty low.
Yeah.
I think it might be time for Forrest to use his special ability.
No!
You really don't want Forrest to go, do you?
I like him so much.
What is your secret objective?
Keep Forrest alive.
Keep him alive?
Well, what if he's not in the game?
Well,
Then how do you keep him alive?
Alive in your heart.
well, I think you're going to have to keep him alive in your heart because
You're getting rid of him?
he was equipped with a pistol. I'm not sure that this mall Santa really knew what he was doing with this pistol. And mysteriously, he was never heard from again, unfortunately. So, goodbye, mall Santa. You're not even going to get...
Can I put him in the casket?
All right, you can put him in the casket. So, morale goes up by 1. That was the special ability that he had. He could be removed from the colony in order to raise morale by 1. Okay, well, now let's go to the table, because there's some other things I need to do, and most of it's going to happen right here. Well, the very first thing I want to do is re-roll a couple of my action dice. This 1 and 2 is pretty bad. A 5 and 6 is much better. Now I'm going to move James over to the hospital because Janet is in a bit of trouble. At the start of Luke's turn, Janet's going to take another wound because she has frostbite, and then she's going to die. So I'm hoping to help with that, but first, of course, I have to roll the exposure die and see what happens to James. Nothing happens to James. And now let's see if I can help Janet out. Now, the way that I'm going to help our little friend Janet out here is by requesting medicine. Does anyone have medicine that they can give me?
I do.
Okay, well then, what about you, Luke?
No.
See, I'm a nice survivor.
This trying to buy her way back into our good graces. Well, this is medicine. When you request something, you have to use it right away. I'm going to use it to heal somebody who shares a location with one of my survivors. So James, he's come over here. He's brought some medicine with him that he took from the colony, and I'm going to heal a frostbite wound, Luke. So there we go.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. This is going to go into our junk pile, though, which means I believe now we are at 10. Something to keep in mind there. All right, time to go back to the table. I have a couple more things that I want to do. Well, now that I'm at the hospital, what I'd like to do is use some of my action dice to search. So I'm going to use one right here. Maybe I can find some food that I can then help add to the crisis. And the first item I searched for was not food. I'll search again. And also, not food. And I'm going to search one more time. Also, not food. Okay, I'm concerned here about this crisis. Because who has food?
I do.
How much? No food. And it looks like we're going to have to focus a lot of our attention on attacking zombies. So I don't think that we're going to have a lot of opportunities to search. I actually have 2 food that I can add to this crisis. And why are you looking at me like that?
No reason.
Okay, I have 2.
No reason why you guys were looking at me like that.
Well, I think because you're being very shady. So
Just had a moment.
I'm going to add 2 food to this crisis. Food that I would like to hang on to for reasons that I do not care to elaborate on. But I consider this a significant sacrifice that I'm making. So that's going to be the end of my turn. Now,
Thank you.
Did the crisis... Yeah, thank you for the thanks. Do I get a thank you from you, sir?
Thank you.
Oh, now I'm suspicious of you too. Okay, the crisis, or crossroad I should say, did it resolve?
No.
No. All right. Well, now it's time for Luke.
new
You get your turn. Yes, I will draw and take a look at this and see if it resolves on your turn.
Does it? Does it not?
Not yet.
I don't like that not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, so it could happen. It could happen. Why don't we give Luke a quick moment to think about what he wants to do for his turn, and then we'll come back. All right, Luke's ready. What do you want to do first?
Well, Herman has the Survivor's Cookbook attached, which lets me put some food in here.
That's helpful. The food supply can always use more food.
Next, I'm going to spend a die to attack with Janet.
Okay, so she's feeling a little better now.
Yep.
She needs to remove some of these threats. So we'll remove one of these tokens here.
Don't I roll for exposure?
You do need to roll for exposure. So go ahead. Let's hope that you do okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
She's not only healthy, she wants her vengeance. Now you also get to roll to see if we collect a sample.
Get a sample. Come on.
Oh,
6!
a 6.
Yes.
That's really good. There's a sample.
It's our 6th sample, and we got it with a 6th roll.
Very good. Halfway there.
Now I'm going to attack again with Janet.
All right, so we'll remove this other token. That means when we get to the point where we have to attract zombies during the colony phase, we know these 2 survivors, well, they look like they're going to be safe.
And I'll roll for exposure.
Ooh, no. Janet, why did you just stay inside of that hospital? A frostbite wound. All that medicine wasted.
But I also get to check if I get a sample.
Right. Oh, 1. Oh.
This is being horrible.
Now, Luke, if you had the right value die, you could search at the hospital.
Yeah, but I can't.
No, you have a 2. That's not going to be enough. Well, what do you want to do with that 2 action die?
I'll clean waste.
Okay, so Luke is going to be able to remove
3
3 waste from the pile. Well, Luke, I think you had a pretty good turn there for the most part. Janet seems to have a predisposition to getting frostbite, unfortunately. But I can tell you, the crossroad did not resolve. So now it's Andrea's turn. Okay, and Luke, you're going to have to take another crossroad and see if this resolves.
Yes, It does, yeah.
Okay, so what's causing it to resolve?
If the player controls a non-exiled survivor at a non-colony location and Gabrielle Diaz is in the survival deck.
Okay, so that would be Maria, the
Maria?
teacher at the school, yes?
Yep.
All right.
We haven't seen Gabrielle.
No, we haven't. Okay.
An explosion rocks the building as you cower in a back room. Thick black smoke billows in, and soon your eyes water and you begin to cough. You set the fire to distract the orb that trapped you. But things quickly got out of hand. The one window you found to escape from proved to be too small.
Is that a fat joke?
I'm sure it wasn't.
And now there was nothing to do but wait for the smoke to,
Asphyxiate.
you.
Yes.
The last thing you see before passing out is a shape lurching towards you through the flames. You awake in the arms of a burly stranger. Good thing me and my family were passing by when we did, he says.
Very good. Okay,
Okay, option 1.
Okay.
You gratefully tell your rescuer and his family about the colony. Search the survivor deck for Gabrielle Diaz and add him to your following. Add 3 helpless survivor tokens at the colony.
Oh.
Option 2. As thankful as you are, you know the colony cannot afford to feed more mouths. You give Diaz family a reward before parting ways on the road. Remove 1 card in your hand from the game.
So this is not a group decision either.
No.
What does it say? It's option 1 or 2. This is not thumbs
Okay.
up or thumbs down. Now this means,
We
Andrea,
get more mouths to feed.
4 more mouths to feed in total,
Oh.
which is not just going to be more mouths to feed, but more zombies to attract. And we are already full at location or entrance 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh.
I don't want to sway your decision. It's your choice. But
Or you can discard 1 hand from your card.
yeah, so yeah,
Card from your
discard 1 hand. It is a zombie game, I suppose.
from your card.
What do you think she should do? What do you think, Luke?
What do you think
I
I'm
think
gonna do?
option